Hi, everybody, and welcome to Matrix Live Season 3, Episode 10, where I'm joined by Brendan Olivier.
Hello, yeah, that's right.
Did I manage to pronounce it correctly?
Yes!
It's a miracle. So we thought that it would be fun to have a chat with Brendan about some of the work that you were doing over Christmas.
Yep.
On dear old Dendrite.
Yep.
So I guess for context, you were working on Dendrite when you were interning with us last summer?
No, the summer before.
Yeah, summer before, 2017.
Yep.
And Brendan did all sorts of fun stuff on that, mainly the Federation work, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure if I did much Federation stuff, but mostly 3-peat invites and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. So it's a whole bunch of the third-party invites and working with Mark around that point, who was leading Dendrite at the time. And then since Brendan came to work full-time on Dendrite, when was it? A couple of months ago now?
Yeah, start of November.
Yep. So there've been a couple of distractions along the way. Also working on low bandwidth matrix stuff, which we'll be talking about in excruciating detail in the coming weeks, particularly at FOSDEM. But also chipping away at Dendrite. And I guess, in fact, it kind of happened at the same time. We were looking at the low bandwidth stuff and wanted to experiment with matrix running on super low bandwidth. And first of all, started off doing it with Dendrite.
Yeah.
And then we realized that actually bits of Dendrite weren't as robust.
Yeah, so we realized by doing that some parts of Dendrite were not in the state that we thought they were. There were some bugs somewhere, some endpoints that were not implemented or not implemented correctly, and some stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it basically boils down to the fact. And by the way, if you don't know what Dendrite is, we should probably mention that Dendrite is our next generation home server written in Go using the massively, I guess, microservice-based architecture of having lots of horizontally scalable Go components which talk to one another by HTTP, but also the data flows through them via Kafka or an equivalent queuing system. And I guess one of the things we were also looking at here is what to do with Dendrite in future, because right now we're doubled down on Synapse in order to get Synapse to a 1.0, because Dendrite still has a fair way to go, and honestly, Synapse is good enough for a lot of today's use cases, but Dendrite is still very much a good option for the longer term. But we wanted to see how healthy it was. So once the low bandwidth stuff happened, I guess we switched over to looking at Dendrite itself. So tell us about the audit that you've been doing.
Yeah, so basically following the realization of Dendrite isn't really in the state we think it is, and there might be some stuff to improve on how to track Dendrite progress as well. We basically thought it would be a great idea to have a full audit of Dendrite on the point of view of how well it implements the matrix specs, what it doesn't implement, what it implements in the wrong way, basically. So I spent most of the month of December on that, and some early January as well. And basically what my main tool for that was to use SciTest, which is our integration test suite that we mainly use against Synapse, but is also, it is compliant with the matrix specs as a whole, so it can also be run against Dendrite. And I basically went through every test in every category, took notes of what was failing, why was it failing, and at the end opened a bunch of issues on the Dendrite repo and went through all of them, labeling them, categorizing them into a shiny, beautiful Dendrite GitHub project board.
So I guess this kind of replaces the big spreadsheet that we originally had. So when Keegan and Mark started working on Dendrite back in 2017, I think, the beginning of 2017, there was a big Google spreadsheet with all of the things that we wanted to get done. And as time went on, unfortunately, Mark and Keegan left the project. I guess the truth started to drift more and more from the code in terms of the updates on that spreadsheet, especially as more and more contributions, especially over this summer with Anoa working on it as an intern and AP Whitehat working on it as GSOC. Basically, I had lots of people chipping away at different bits and actually having a holistic view of where the whole thing was at and got a little bit lost. So where is the project? Let me just pull it. My tripod is falling over. So in case, I'll go and chuck the link in the post, but it's project 2 on the Dendrite repository. So github.com/matrix-org/dendrite/project/2, and we've got 5, 6 columns here. More, 7, 8, 9, 11 columns.
We have a lot of columns. Basically, we have a lot of to-do columns, which are basically the stuff that still needs to be done to have to bring Dendrite to almost complete feature parity with Synapse. And all of that is cut down into either to-do, which are more maintenance / improvements that would help the codebase be saner, basically. We also have all of the bugs that still needs to be fixed, and also the remaining features to implement, or bits of feature to implement, which are cut down in 4 phases. The main one being basically what needs to be done for Dendrite to be usable on a minimal use case. So basically, once phase 1 is done, people should be able to just run Dendrite on their own. It won't be as feature complete as Synapse, but it will be. But it should be. It should have some level of stability and some and a decent amount of feature implemented, and then the 3 remaining phases should basically improve the feature set of Dendrite.
So, and it just keeps on going from phase 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so 4 has got things like presence and app service. 3 is read markers and context. No, that sounds pretty sane. And then we've got in progress and review and done. Cool. So I mean, I think there are like 70 tickets that came out of this in the end for the project board.
Yeah, something like that. So between 70 and 80.
So what do we do next?
Well, we go through each and every one of them. Both me and Anoa working on that, by being also taken by other projects, such as the low bandwidth stuff that we're working on in anticipation for FOSDEM. But we're also dedicating some time to Dendrite and also the community, as we have a bunch of first good issue tags. Yeah, that's it. On the project board, that would be great starting points for people to just hop into the Dendrite train and hack their way into.
That's a big difference. So we've got big green good first issue labels. About 15 of them, I think.
Something like that. And actually, some people already submitted a few pull requests for them. We basically that project board has been created on Tuesday, I think, and on Wednesday or maybe yesterday we already had one PR merged as a consequence of that, which is great. There are a fair amount of people that are interested in contributing to Dendrite, which is amazing. Thank you a lot for that. And basically what we need to do is now we know what we need to do, and all that's left to do is basically work on that.
So I mean, the idea on our side is to have at least one person working on Dendrite at any given point. which is enough to keep it ticking over and heading in the right direction, and also to use Dendrite for more experimental stuff. So specifically the low bandwidth stuff could be a good match, because low bandwidth kind of implies constrained hardware resources, and Dendrite takes up roughly 10 times less space than Synapse does in terms of RAM and CPU requirements. So it's good if you're running it on Raspberry Pis or drones or whatever your weird and wonderful use case might happen to be. Also, peer-to-peer would be really interesting to start running Dendrite's client side. And then in the longer term, as we catch up with the full parity to the Matrix spec and parity with Synapse, and obviously we can start using it for kind of real home server uses too. So the idea is for it to start off being a bit niche, a bit for experimental stuff, a bit for constrained environments, and then see where it goes from there. And inevitably, there's going to be distractions along the way, like the low bandwidth stuff is right now. But I think it's going to be really exciting to see it finally coming to life, and to have Brendan and Anna going and hacking away with it.
Yep.
So thank you, Brendan, for going and opening the crypt and going through all of the coffins, so to speak, and working out what we have to do to finish putting it to life. It kind of reminds me of a sports car project, which is in the garage of your house. I'm sure that everybody has a friend or a sibling or a father or someone who goes and buys a kit car like an MG, or not buys a MG to reassemble in their garage, or a kit car or whatever, and it might take a little bit longer than you'd expect, but it doesn't stop it being very, very fast and cool when it finally happens. So I'm looking forward to us finally opening up the garage door and Brendan zooming off down the road at 200 miles an hour. I think.
Run that.
Cool. Well, is there anything else we should tell the world about the world of Dendrite right now?
I don't think so. Thanks again for everyone who started almost on the mark to look into contributing to Dendrite, and also if you ever interested in looking into it, starting hacking into it, just come hang around and shout on either Dendrite on matrix.org or Dendrite dev on matrix.org, and we'll be there to basically answer your questions and help you go forward.
Indeed. Cool. Well, thanks again to everybody who's contributed, and that's probably about it from us this week. But see you next week for another Matrix Live.
Bye.